purpose, like some survey or something. Okay, you guys are sending it to 10 different peoples. Okay, you're asking their country or state or pin code or address. Okay, everyone will fill in a different format. Oh, so it will be different for this, different for the algorithm or system to give accurate results. Someone will mention Tamil Nadu, someone will mention TL, someone can write it in a different language. They can even write it in Tamil. So while having this variety of raw data, it will be difficult for the system to analyze the data. In the transformation algorithm, you will say all TN should be transformed to Tamil Nadu, all Tamil Nadu should be transformed to TL. It will have a standardized structure. Even date format, everyone will write in different date formats. Okay, I'll write YYMMWW, some guys will write expanded, someone will say January 2 or January 4, they'll make Jan 4. There are different ways you can write, but if you collect all the data from 100 different peoples in 100 different date formats, it will be difficult for the system to process it. So whatever date format it has in raw data, I need this particular format MMYY, DDMMYY to be processed. So all the date format, whatever you guys use, it will be directly changed into the standardized date format. So it will be easy for the system to understand what date format it is. This is what we call structured data. All the data in a particular column has single format. That is what we call structured data. Okay, clean data in this means what they are talking is that some people, sometimes there will be duplicate, some people can submit the form twice or thrice, or in a case they may have missed to opt for some fields, like some columns can be left blank, but those are be mandatory for us to analyze. So what we can do is, we can either generate the columns or we can remove the columns or remove the duplicates. Those types of cleaning process also will happen in the backend. Okay, this powers business analytics and business intelligence. So when you have a clean structured data, it will be easy for you to generate reports. I hope you guys will be know of Power BI, Tableau and all. So those tools are used to generate reports with this clean structured data. If you have unclean data, if you have mismatches somewhere, or instead of date column you have something random value coming up, the reports will not be appropriate or clear. Okay, the same social media example you guys posted is here. Okay, now we can see we can collect raw data from different platforms, we can remove duplicate posters, analyze whatever things you want, and then they'll load the data into the warehouse or cloud or whichever is suitable for the business, and then they'll generate reports on, like, brand sentiment means what brands are popular in this particular area or among this age group. So they'll promote that brands in that particular area. Such kind of business decisions they can make using this data. Next slide. Okay, the ETL workflow. First, we'll extract the data. We'll retrieve the data from multiple sources. As I said, there are multiple sources like cloud, web, UPI, websites, or whatsoever. Transform, clean, validate, and format data into usable structure. The raw data may have inconsistency, so we are cleaning and validating it, and we are transforming and applying few business logics that are like important for the business or important for our decision making or generating report, what field we are needing. So that kind of transformations are made, and then we are loading the data into a target system. The target system may be a data warehouse, cloud storage, or whatever the business is using, or it simply can be your local storage also. Next slide. Can you move to next slide? Yeah. This is a schematic representation of medical data format. Okay, this EHR EMR stands for electronic health records, electronic medical records. All the digitalized health and medical records along with clinical systems means the data collected from the hospitals. All those things are extracted and transformed and stored into data warehouse. So you can see they can make reports or make charts presentation. Let's say in this particular month, this kind of fever has been increasing in this particular area. So what is the reason for that? They can analyze the reason why this disease is suddenly coming up in this particular area or in this age group. Those kinds of determination or analytics or even predictive analytics, report forming, whatever the business company they wants to do, they can do it with this data. Next slide. Okay, this is the in-depth feature of whatever I said for this. They are extracting the data from the various source, whatever transformation that needs to be applied is done, and then they are loaded into a repository for future use or for a report. Next slide. Can you move to next slide? Okay. Now we'll see all the three process in detail. Okay. First, extraction. As you guys know, this involves retrieving raw data from various sources. This supports all forms of data like structured, semi-structured, unstructured, let's say, on different file formats. It can be CSV, .NET, and all the file formats can be combined into single file format while transformation. Those kinds of things can be supported in this kind of extraction. And it can also handles data from legacy or like main legacy means like mainframe systems. Even we can integrate that data into modern platform cloud data. So that is the main advantage here. The sources, as I mentioned, database means, flat files means the CSV, Excel, or TXT dat files which contains information. API is where you can pull data from another source. Like let's say if some different organization is having that data, you can pull those data from using APIs. Web services, like web services, we'll do web scraping. If Amazon is having so much data, we'll use that some tools called web scraping or third web scraping to pull the data from directly from the website, website database. Or third party services, like uh, there are few third party services available. They can buy that website data for you, for it can be rental or pay as you go kind of things. Okay. Cloud storage, you guys know. IoT devices means, like, let's say now we have Alexa and smart devices all over the houses and other places which are in use, like mobile phones. So from those IoT devices also, which the data can be transmitted. Okay. Data inconsistency and unstructured formats. As I said, when data is coming from multiple sources, it can be very inconsistent and unstructured also. The tools we can use to extract is Apache Spark, Spoop, Talent, Informatica, and as you know, Python, Java, any form of programming language can be used to pull data and load it to SQL. Next slide. Okay, there are two methods of extraction. Either it is full extraction or incremental extraction. In full extraction, it is during the first time when you are extracting. Okay, all the data from the source system is extracted. In incremental extraction is that when you're loading it for the second time, only the changes that are made since the first extraction are loaded. We are not loading the entire full extraction because it's cost consuming, time consuming. So what will they do is that once the first initial load is done, they will have few columns along with the extraction time, like last updated, upload date, or migration date, or timestamp. These kinds of extra columns will be added while they are extracting. So based on this last updation date or migration date, they'll do the another pull. Like wherever the changes are made, they'll pull. Or if we are doing based on a specific time format, like weekly ones, every week that particular date and time that extraction will happen. It everything can be scheduled. Okay. There are different techniques for extraction. Okay, direct extraction, we can directly extract using queries or API calls or or programming language from the source itself, or staging area. We have that staging area where we can call like developmental phase or somewhere. Okay, it is directly not loaded into production environment. They'll have a staging area where all that extracted data can be stored until either it is to manage large volumes of data. So they will move chunks of data to production, or it is used for testing or developmental phase. Like they move the particular data into staging, they'll do all their analysis or all their transformation in the staging, and then they'll directly move it to production. Okay, change data capture, as I said, they'll only identified if wherever the changes happened in data, and they'll pull only that data. Or if there is no change happen, the data pull for that particular phase can be ignored and proceed. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is some examples from where data can be pulled. As we discussed, we can pull it from all the Wi-Fi devices, all the devices that has Bluetooth facilities, all the devices that are basically connected to internet can transmit data from one place to another. Okay, next one. Next slide. Transformation. Okay. In this transformation phase, they will add particular transformation logic that needs for the target system in the raw data. Okay. This may involve cleaning, filtering, formatting, enriching data. Like as we discussed, there are many techniques that they can use. Let's say, for example, we need only, like, we need to get voter details. Okay, you guys have all the data from particular area, like census details, which has all the human population living in that particular area. But you guys want to know who are eligible for voting, so you guys can preach them for voting for this particular person or for this particular party. In order to do so, you don't need to send advertisement to every single person. Like if this person is only 15 years old, spending advertisement money on the 15 years, or anyone below 18 years, or anyone who passed away, is a waste of money and resource. So in order to filter out whoever living in that particular area above the like voting age, you can calculate so many things. Okay, in census data you will have their date of birth and their date of death, but they'll not be having age. So what we can do is that we can derive a age column from the date of birth. Okay, date of death, if you have that column entry itself, those people need to be removed. Whoever passed away is not eligible for voting. So you don't need to save those people's information, you have to delete them, because it will be huge volume. So consuming extra unwanted data can cause cost and efficiency. Okay, if the data is of 100 MB, and if you reduce all the people below 18 years and all the people who passed away, the data will be only 80 or 70 GB. So you guys are saving so much storage capacity, and the processing time also will increase when the volume is less. Okay, those things can be done. As the tools, you guys know Informatica, Apache Spark, SQL Loader, AWS Glue, Python, Java. There are so many ETL tools you can use for transformation. Simple as you can directly use Python and Java, C, whatever you guys are feasible. Okay, next slide. These are the major key activities, like major transformation activities that are performed as cleaning. As I said, whatever missing values or inconsistent value, duplicate removal, correcting errors can be done in cleaning. And normalization, as I said, all the standardizing format, changing everything into standardizing format, or if there are any numerical values, you can round it off to 2 3, or to make it in a standardized format. This normalization can be done. Data aggregation. Okay, let's say if you guys have purchased 10 different times, we only need how much that particular person is spent. We don't need the individual splits. So you can sum up all the expenditure they've made, and you can add it under their name. So for these things, they can do all the types of aggregation, like calculating sum, total, average, and count. Like how many people are there eligible to vote, whatever kind of transformation you guys need, it can be done. Data integration, you can combine different data from different sources into a single store. Okay, that kind of merging, joining, the union, that can be done. Data transformation, as I said, applying business rules and logic. You need to find what profit that this organization is made so far. So for calculating profit, each organization which will have a different parameters or different logical equation that needs to be applied. So those kinds of algorithms can be made. Data enrichment can be like, we can add additional data, we can create new fields. Like, let's say we didn't have that age field earlier, so we derived that age field from whatever the data available for us. Those kind of derivations, new attributes, creating new calculated fields can be made. Okay, these are the key transformation activities we can do while transformation. So, next slide. See, this data is coming up in chunks. Okay, and then after transformation it is just organized. So this is a visual representation of how data is organized or in transformation. Okay, next slide. For loading, we can load it into a target system. The target system may be data warehouse, database, data lakes. Database can be cloud or local, or they may have their own servers. There are different storage unit each business or companies would prefer. Okay, the goal is to make the data available for analysis and reporting. Whatever form of analysis or reporting they are doing, uh, we need to give the data ready for analysis. Okay, uh, usually if you guys want to go into data analytics field, you will always have the clean data. This ETL process will be done before itself by data engineers or production engineers or whoever handling ETL engineers will do all these things. And whatever the data they are loading, that will be used by data analytics analysis. Data analytics people will not take care of ETL mostly in many cases. Okay, all the cleaned and proper data available in the target production system, we'll fetch that data, we'll do analysis whatever needed, and we'll find the reporting whatever the clients asked us to do for. And those reports and analysis or prediction will be shared over for the client information. The same full loading and incremental load. Full load is that initially when we are loading, we load all the data, and later while we are loading, we load only the changes that are made since the last load. Okay, next slide. Can you move to next slide? Shana, right? Can you move to next slide? Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Importance of ETL date. Oh yeah, this slide. This is loud. I was just. Thank you. Methods of loading. There are two different methods of loading. One is batch loading. We can load it in scheduled interviews, like every week, this time monthly, weekly, or daily schedules. Daily at the end of the business hours, at the end of the store close, my data should load. That kind of thing can be done. Real time loading is that whenever up to date information it needs to be available. Like uh, in shopping or grocery stores, we can load the daily whatever profit we made, or daily whatever the sale happens at the end of the day, at the end of the store closing time. Okay, but in financial situation, while using Paytm, phone pay, or financial transaction, banks cannot use anyone. Okay. Banks cannot wait for close of business hours to move the data into real time or storage. When the by the time the transaction is made, it needs to be saved. Okay, that is real time loading. Once you send hit, or once you press the pin, it should load, because you are making a financial transaction that can alter all the codes. that cannot be waited like waited 10 minutes or 1 hour or 1 day to be load. So those kinds of real time loading can be mostly done in financial transactions only, or in live monitoring. Let's say healthcare also, like you are monitoring, let's say there are many digital IoT trackers are available. Let's say if the patient is having heart disease, or if they're having pacemaker, all the data from their heart are directly loaded via sensor to their mobile phone directly real time. Okay. Tools for loading, ETL tools. There are many ETL tools like Informatica, Talent, and Microsoft SSIS. So these ETL tools directly they have all the capacities you need for transformation and extraction. Or you can use database utilities also to load, like SQL loader, MySQL load. Next slide. Can you move to next slide? Huh? Okay, thank you. Importance of ETL. Okay, data integration, as we already discussed. No, no, next slide. Yeah, as we already discussed, combining data from multiple sources with different file formatting is a very useful and powerful concept. Data quality, while we are transforming all the inconsistent data into a structured data, the data quality is also helps in making a better decision making using algorithm. So that is one of the major advantage. Data warehousing, as I said, supporting business intelligence and analytics data, and storing the raw data in production environment is costly. Like you don't need to store multiple duplicates data or inconsistent data. If you have proper clean and normalized structured data, it will be in less it comparatively compared to the raw data, it will be less in size. So that can improve storage features also, and processing also. Next slide. Okay, these are popular ETL tools. These are some of the tools that are used for ETL, ELT end, and then open source tools for automations. Everything is discussed. If you guys want, you can take a screenshot, so you can go over and see if there are open source available for free, and you can browse them. Next slide. Okay, use cases. We already discussed business intelligence. We know creating reports and dashboard is one of the primary use case for having ETL. And data migration, moving data between different systems. Okay, if you want to, if you are using particular AWS tool for a long time now, you want to switch to Google products. So those kinds of data migration can be done. Data integrations we already discussed, combining different data. Next slide. Okay, these are the challenges in ETL. As I have mentioned, I was a production support analyst before. I was not a data analyst earlier. So there we'll only handle whatever the challenges in ETL system, like uh, every ETL pipeline will be running. Okay, whatever real time issues that ETL pipeline is facing after development, or after implementing into the real time environment after it's going live, that kind of complications only we'll handle. We'll not like create. I was not in a platform where we'll create ETL initially. We'll only work on the challenges. Data volume, as I said, as the company grows, the data volume also will grow. The ETL pipeline they developed earlier will be stable for using small volumes of data. When bigger volume comes in, that pipeline may break. So those are one big challenge. Data quality, as I said, while data volume is increasing, we should also maintain data quality. Data variety, let's say earlier when they developed, they were only handling 4 different types of file format. Now the client is having 6 7 different types of file format. So the ETL pipeline must be feasible to accommodate all the difference or all the upcoming changes that are coming in. Performance, once data volume gets increased, the time taken by the ETL jobs to run will also increase. We have to optimize its performance also. Scalability, as I said, whatever huge volume data comes in, the ETL codes or algorithms should scale in order to accommodate all the volume coming in. Real time processing. See, in real time processing, if some error or something happens in data, the ETL systems should not break. It should have error handling capacity, so it can handle whatever kind of real time processing issues that comes in. So it will resolve on its own, and it can restart it. Data security. While you are performing everything, there should not be any data leakage or data breach. Data security, even humans are viable to data security. You cannot show confidential data to any individual person who is working on that. So they will have encryption decryption kind of data security in every sensitive information handled. Okay. Change management. When you're changing from one system to another system, each ETL code should be feasible, that it should allow us to change from one system to another system. Cost, complexity, you guys know, documentations and maintenance. Like every change it's made, it should be documentized. And ETL codes, every time proper maintenance should be made to DB or coding platform or whatever server the codes is running in. Proper maintenance of hardware is very important. If you guys, if the proper maintenance is not done, that can be also the reason somewhere the ETL codes can break. Next slide. Okay. The future, we know automation. This is the main thing we are going for. We have to reduce all the manual intervention. It should come to near to zero. Everything. We don't have to upload a file. Every time when a changes is made in database, when you hit save, it will automatically, the code will detect that some changes it made. It will capture the change. It will load it automatically. You don't have to do anything. Once you design that code, your part is done. ETL, you are not required to do any changes there. Real time processing, as I said, handling financial data, handling healthcare data needs real time processing. So every time real time processing data comes in, it will transform. Whatever the transformation logic you applied will happen on the spot, and it will save. Cloud based solution. See, every time this ETL process happens, it directly saves into cloud. Directly the dashboard is refreshed, the client can see immediately. They don't need an ETL engineer to work in the back end to extract, load and push the changes to cloud or changes to client. ANML integration, enhancing data transformation. It can be used for various prediction algorithms or research purposes or machine learning techniques. So many things can be done. These are the futures of ETL. You guys have any doubt here? Next slide.
Ma'am, I have a doubt in transformation.
Yeah, sure.
How will you handle the missing data? Example, if a person's date of birth is missing, so will you remove the column or the row of that particular person, or what should be done?
No, like let's see. While there are many scenarios that can be handled. Okay, while giving the form, that column should be mandate. If that particular value is not filled, let's say if name or date of birth is not filled, the particular entity is useless, right? If you're
Yes,
not
ma'am.
having any name, or if you're not having date of birth, or if you're not having any vital information that you need for your business to process, keeping that inconsistent entry is a waste of cost. So that is based on business decision. If you in the scenario we discussed, if you are only focusing on voters discrimination, keeping one row which you cannot determine is eligible to vote or not is a waste of time. So they may remove in that case. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you,
Or
ma'am.
in order to reduce these kinds of inconsistency, while giving the form itself, they will have this field as mandate. Whatever mandatory fields you need for your business to perform, that will be mandated column. If those fields are not filled, that particular entry will not load at all. It will not come from extract phase to clean place at all. Wherever the mandate columns is missing, those will be automatically dropped, because having them is it will not be useful for you in any way, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But let's see, if it is not for voter id purpose, if you are using it for something different else, if you need that person's address for future reference or some other things, that data will be still available in the raw process, where you can fetch using different transformation for different analytics. Raw data is going to be the same da. If you are using for voter id, if you are having voter id system, that will have a different transformation logic. If you are having for census, that will have different transformation logic. You can pick the same raw data and you can reuse it whenever you need. Okay, I see some question in chat. How would you integrate unstructured data PDFs into ETL process? Any form of file format can be handled. Okay, in PySpark or Python, all the PDF, TXT, irrespective of the file format, they can handle it. They will have that pattern reading thing, like CSV means comma separated. In PDFs also, it will be some kind of formatting they will use. In Python and PySpark and all, it's already automated. You guys can just call the function to read PDFs, logs, and everything. Logs, there are different forms of logs. Okay, logs, there are like mostly there will be SQL logs. It will be stored in a table format, or it can be like PySpark or shell scripting logs that will be coming in real time. It will already have a log handling system, or it will have a specific storage where these logs can be handled. So based on that, you can alter your programming query to load whatever unstructured information you have. Once you load that into a table, you can integrate all the formats. Like, let's say you are reading a CSV, PDF logs separately, and you're loading the data into a single table. Once it is loaded to a table, any form of transformation you can apply and you can combine into a single data format. Anything else? I
Ma'am,
think I'm almost done with my part of presentation. If you guys have any questions, you can carry on. Yeah.
ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, will the data warehouse will maintain in on premise or outside the infrastructure like cloud?
That depends. Okay. Few companies are wide enough or like scalable enough to have their own data warehouse. Let's say Amazon, Google, they are very big organization. They'll have their own data warehouse. Okay, separately they'll maintain. There are few smaller structures available that let's say a startup. For a startup, they'll not have the financial capacity to maintain their own warehouse, so they can store it in their cloud, or they can rent a clouding storage, or they can even rent a server also. Shared servers are also available. Like uh, few four to five startup companies will buy a server and they'll share the resources between them. There are many forms available. Entirely it depends upon the company's growth and the financial like constraint they have, or the budget they have. Yes, Jyoti. Any doubt else for someone?
Ma'am, I do have a doubt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what are the some metrics or KPIs that organizations do track while the ETL process?
Okay, I will. There are so many ways that can be tracked. Okay, there are few scheduling tools available. CA workstation is what we used in my earlier organization. If you can see, whatever ETL jobs are scheduled, whatever the time scheduled, whatever the details, or whatever the particular code or a shell script it's running, or a SQL file it is running, all the details will be encoded there. So you can see, if you guys, if there are few organizations that directly schedules in mainframe and opens mainframe to see, else not, they'll have these kinds of tools where you can schedule an ETL process to happen in this particular time. And if that process fails, or if something happens, you can get an alert note or email or whatsoever. So by this way they'll track. Let's say if there are 1,000 jobs running at a time, you cannot monitor everything individually, right? So if it is processing, it will be in green. If it is failed, it will be in red. It will be denoted in an icon, or it will be color coded, or you'll get an email separately. There are tools for everything. One of such tools is CA workstation. If you can go through that tool.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Anything else? We have 5 more minutes to conclude. Okay, I'll conclude. If you guys can think deeply, whatever action you're performing, it will be related to an ETL. Whatever digital action you're doing, or whatever it is, that process is somewhere saved and it is somewhere used for some kind of decision making. Whatever you browse or whatever text you send in social media to your friends or anything, even in Spotify playlist, or Netflix, whatever you watch, what kind of series you are watching, those are analyzed, and they will give that suggestions. If you can go to your Netflix and see, it will have a percentage like it's 57% match, 98% match. How they are determining that? They are gathering all your watch history, search history, or whatever action you performed in that platform. They are storing it somewhere. They are applying some kind of transformation logic or analytics logic algorithm to that, and they are coming out to some conclusion they need to enrich their business. Okay, this is overall summary of ETL. I hope this session was helpful to all of you. If you have any doubts, we still have 3 more minutes. I'll be available.
Ma'am, one more doubt.
Sure. Da.
Who is responsible for maintaining the ETL pipeline?
Okay. There will be support engineers to maintain ETL pipeline. That also entirely depends on organization. If you have a bigger organization like TCS, Cognizant, such type of companies, they'll have different peoples to develop, different peoples to test, different people to maintain, and there will be different people who will be intermeeting between ETL output and the client also. If client is coming up with a change which already went live, they will even support that also. But mostly support engineers will be available around the clock, 24 cross 7, to monitor these ETL tools, and if something breaks in real time, they'll fix it immediately
Okay, ma'am.
in order to ensure like smooth transaction is happening. If you see in business point of view, in a medical environment, if the ETL pipeline breaks in between somewhere, they cannot deliver on time, so there will be a loss to the client real time. So in order to fix that, they will have priorities. If this application breaks, this is top priority, you have to fix it within 1 hour. If this breaks, you have to fix it, you can fix it between 4 to 5 hours. Such types of parameters will be predefined by the client by the time of requirement gathering itself. So based on the input available, they will fix everything. There will be support engineers who are responsible for maintaining and fixing issues.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, then we can conclude. I hope the session was useful. Thank you everyone for this opportunity also. Yeah, bye guys, have a good
Thank
day.
you, ma'am.
Yeah, bye.
Good afternoon,
Thank you.
everyone. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Ms. Pooja for sharing her valuable insights with us today. Your knowledge and experience in the ETL process have been truly inspiring. A big thanks to the organizing team and faculty members for making this webinar more possible, and to the all participants for your time and attention. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Bye.
Hopefully.